You're traveling through another dimension. A dimension not only of sight and sound, but of mind. A journey into a wondrous land whose boundaries are that of imagination. That's the signpost up ahead. Your next stop, the Twilight Zone.
We live in an illusion of security. Though we might ignore it, we all know that the world will meet its eventual demise. For one group of survivors born after the end, the unthinkable has become reality, and normal life has given way to nightmare. The walking dead are among them. This is the normal. They know nothing else. We'll try to answer the major questions. The who, the where, the when. These will be answered shortly. The why and the how, these will take a bit longer. But they will be found at a price. In a moment, these survivors and you will move from the comfortable world that you know to one that exists exclusively in the Twilight Zone.
Should we kind of go over like what our characters look like, or am I jumping the gun?
No, that's the next step. So all that we have left now is to sort of introduce your characters, what they look like, and then we need to name the enclave.
All right.
Okay.
Cool. Jesus wept.
Chris, why don't you start? What does Calvin Drace look like?
All right. Calvin Drace is a fairly short but heavily built man in his early 40s, completely bald. You get the impression that he probably has a fringe of hair left, but he shaves it regularly. See him with his straight razor every now and then. He has a couple of tattoos, but they're faded, look like they were probably from his youth, and he hasn't bothered keeping them up or taking any care of them. Lots of little scars on his knuckles in particular, and across his arms, but not anywhere else. Heavy brow. Okay. He's indistinct race-wise. Something on the low shade of brownish.
Fleetus, you're next. What do you look like?
Fleetus has shorter, unkempt hair, just standard brown with the. He wears overalls but no shirt. He's kind of scrawny looking, and he's like average height. I'd probably say like 5'8", 5'9", and he is like the quintessential South American person.
Right.
Like not like
Southern American.
Southern American. Yeah, there we go.
I was like, that is a completely different thing.
Manhattan Jones, what do you look like?
Manhattan Jones looks like one of the most average men you could ever imagine. Even to these days, you can see where he rolls the sleeves up on his shirt, there are small blood stains on the cuffs, or maybe a splatter of something on his tie. But he tends to try to cling to the past that he once held and try to look presentable. He doesn't necessarily wear slacks, like he will wear jeans, but he's typically in like a button up and a ratty vest, with or without a tie. Decent haircut. Basically like the image that I had sent over, just like an average looking man. Unassuming, not necessarily problematic in any way that he looks or dresses, not fancy, not dressy. He just wears that.
Okay.
He's approximately this, like he's average height, like 5'8", 5'9".
Oh yeah.
And he speaks, as I was trying to do before with Chris, he speaks somewhat properly. You get a sense that he used to be some kind of speaker or something in the past.
Okay.
Like some kind of public speaker.
Okay. All right.
So he has a confidence to what he's saying, and he dresses in a similar manner. Not like he's dressing better than you, but he's dressing to match his outward appearance.
Okay. And finally, Malachi. What do you look like?
Malachi Falk is he's tall, and you can tell that as a kid he was probably pretty wiry, but now he's pretty built up, and you imagine that's because he used to be, or I suppose still is, a Mennonite, and he's on Rumspringa right now. Eternally, it would seem, because there's really no going back, huh? And there are other things to Malachi, but yeah, he actually does still wear the Mennonite hat. It's pretty beat to shit, but
Right.
other than that, he doesn't really follow any other Mennonite principles. He's not particularly pious.
Right.
He has no problem using technology. Loves the stuff,
Right.
and yeah, like I said, he's tall. He's pretty average looking. He's got a bad haircut. He doesn't
Right.
really care about like he's not very narcissistic about like looks and stuff. So he's not very well kempt. He's pretty plain.
Very good. All right, and the very last step is to come up with a name for our lovely prison that we all live in.
Where are we located
Okay.
country-wise? Do we know that?
Argentina.
You are like northeastern US.
Northeastern US.
Yeah. I was
New
thinking
York.
Like just Michigan State high security. And I guess it wouldn't
Yeah,
be
so,
Michigan State,
Mi-
but
Michigan,
Michigan
Massachusetts,
Penitentiary.
New York, somewhere in there.
High security
Like a New England kind of area.
rehabilitation center was what it was called.
Uh,
And maybe
yeah,
when
I
they
was
named
just,
it Jesus wept.
I was thinking like Black Mountain Correctional or something. We're right next to that mountain.
Well, mountain.
Oh,
Yeah,
right,
I was
yeah.
gonna say the mountain works too.
my other thought was the hole.
No.
These are nicknames, and any nickname is fine. People can call it whatever they want, but the official name would probably have correctional or
hole.
rehabilitation. Maximum
Mountain
security
Ridge
definitely
Correctional,
somewhere in
not
there.
bad.
Yeah,
Physical Reconstruction Center.
Black Mountain Correctional.
I like that.
That's not bad.
Yep.
Okay, let's
Blue
go with
Mountain Correctional.
Black Mountain
that. Thunder
Correctional.
Mountain Correctional.
Yeah, I like Thunder Mountain.
You know, in the middle of Disney World.
Correctional.
Nice.
Thunder Mountain Correctional, where the bad kids at Disneyland have to spend the day.
Right.
On Thunder Mountain, oh no.
You are all members, involuntarily due to the sudden appeal of the Walking Dead, members of the Enclave Black Mountain Correctional. You get along with everyone passably. This is like a small business or something where, like, yeah, you got a job to do, but you don't have a lot of friends. All of you have managed to find at least one person in the Enclave, represented by your ally cards, that you can confide with in some way, that you trust, and others that you have come to depend on, even if you don't necessarily like them. You appreciate their skills, and you appreciate that they can get the job done. Those are the four of you, as it so happens to be. Calvin Drace, Fleetus Dubatap, Malachi Falk, and Manhattan Jones. The four of you carry a reputation. Whether everyone in the Enclave likes you is irrelevant, but the four of you have a reputation for getting things done. When something bad happens, one of you, or all of you, if the case is needed, can probably figure it out and get the job done. So, when it's realized that the food stores for Black Mountain Correctional are getting awfully scarce, more scarce than they have been. They've always been a problem. Food's always been a problem in this area where we're in the middle of nowhere, really, and there isn't a lot around. There's fish, there is a large body of water, but fishing takes time, and it doesn't yield the results necessary to feed all of the people here. And we're running out of like non-perishables, things that are essential for long-term survival, canned goods, that kind of thing. The patron of the Jenkins, the quote-unquote local farm family, being the oldest in the Enclave, Jackson Jenkins, being the oldest of the Enclave, has kind of become, for a long time, even though it's never been official, kind of become sort of the de facto, like, mayor of the Enclave. He's pretty good about keeping people in line, and there's still infighting now and then, but for the most part, most people agree that he's been around the longest. He knows his way around, and he's got a way with people. You know, I think all of you probably respect him at least marginally. You can all appreciate the fact that like he's got a brain in his head, kind of thing. Oh, is the nearby water fresh or salt? Great question. It is fresh water, but it's not of the greatest quality.
Okay.
So you have been able to fish in the past. It's getting harder and harder to do so.
I'm also thinking about water supply because presumably the municipal supply isn't working like it used to. So we're probably having to do something with that local lake in terms of refining the product, the sludgy water into something we can drink.
Probably because we keep dumping all those dead zombie bodies into the lake.
Yeah, people said that would bite us in the ass
for the
eventually.
water population.
Yes, you have sort of a very rudimentary sort of filtration system set up that allows you to keep a decent amount of water. You're never like able to just like, you're not able to not able to like chug a lug it, but you have enough water to manage each day.
Okay.
When the strenuous activity is required, you all go a little thirsty. But the urgent crisis is the sudden lack of canned goods. Now, a scouting team that consisted of a couple of the Jenkins boys headed out, and they came sort of the outskirts of the city. They didn't want to go any further because, of course, the towns, the cities, the villages, those, of course, are crawling with the undead. But they have a pretty good guess that there is some sort of old supermarket. Something called an Almar stands pretty big. It's this huge sort of blue building in the nearby remnants of a town. And you're pretty sure that place still looks decently intact. You could end up getting there and find it's been completely ransacked. But it's the closest place that would probably have canned goods that would be still sealed and reliable or whatever. So anyways, the decision is made that this needs to happen sooner rather than later, and that with the threat of the undead swarming this area, being drawn to sort of urban centers of past, the four of you are the natural choice to carry out this task. And now I'm going to, before we drop into character, I'm now going to ask everyone to make their first, I was almost said roll, their first draw of the game. Because I'm going to have each of you draw soul, and that will decide which allies of your like personal allies also accompany you. Plus, one of Jenkins's sons, we'll call him Mac, is also accompanying you. Okay, so then the only one whose ally is convinced to come is Manhattan's then. Okay, so there are 6 of you then. Jenkins' son Mac accompanies you, Juanita Lopez accompanies you, and it's the 4 of you. Well, I thank all of you for volunteering for this dangerous mission. You really are kind of the eyes and ears and, frankly, the legs and hands of this group. I wish you good luck.
Oh, forget to kill me some zombies. All the better, right? No. Yeah.
Now you said it. Now it's done.
Yeah, that's what he sounds like. It's canon.
Yeah.
Appreciate the appreciation, I guess, Mayor. Don't worry, we'll be back before supper time.
Can I sort of wry cough that betrays a lifetime of smoking? Well, good to hear it. I look forward to your return and also to possible supplies for the Enclave. You know we're running out of canned goods. Won't last too much longer without some more beans, some more fish, that kind of thing.
Oh God, not beans.
But what am I going to feed Pete? I need to feed my chicken.
I think your chicken needs to feed us.
Now, gentlemen, there's no need to fight about this. We'll simply find more food. It can't be that hard. Let's let's get a move on. We're wasting our daylight. You know it gets worse at night, right?
You'll probably hit the edge of the town by 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. You don't want to be there too long, so get a hustle. See if you can get. You might have to come back during nightfall. Just stay careful. Keep your wits about you. Keep your pistols loaded.
Oh, and that should be a note there. All of you have a backpack with like a flashlight, a single flare, a little bit of rope.
Okay.
And you all have a pistol with exactly 6 shots in it and no extra clips.
Cool. What caliber is my gun?
It's a 9mm, like
Okay.
a policeman's pistol kind of thing.
Yeah, purely anti-personnel, soft target. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
9mm, 6 bullet.
Of course, soft target.
Juanita also has a gun listed in her equipment, so she's also strapped.
She's
Mac,
doubling it.
Mac, who is accompanying you, does not have a weapon but has a machete. So the 5 of you leave what counts for the mayor's office, which has been basically the warden's office converted. Just a little bit nicer. It's basically the same office, but Jackson's got a picture of his family basically on a mantelpiece. And the 5 of you proceed outside, and you find Mac waiting for you near the edge of the fences. He's got sort of a grin on his face. He's dressed ready to sort of tumble through the woods kind of thing, like hiker's boots, overalls. He's made himself sort of like a little makeshift sheath for his machete, which is at his hip. And he gives it kind of like a little like casual sort of like salute with his like finger as you approach. You guys ready to get rolling?
Hey, Mac, yeah, you coming with us?
Yeah, that's the plan anyways. Pa said it'd be best if we have an even number if we need to split up or whatever.
All right. You just carry your weight and try not to get left behind.
Manhattan just gives him a look and says, Mac?
Well, your pa's a smart man. 2 by 2 is the best way to go if we gotta split up. How about you just stick with me and we'll make sure nothing bad happens to you.
Well, that's mighty kind of you, Malachi. I'll be sure to do that. Sir, sorry.
Malachi's fine. You don't. No, sir is not fitting for a man like me. Malachi will do.
The 6 of you.
All right, everybody. Get in line. Let's go.
Okay, so important question. How do you go about traveling? What kind of formation do you guys take up as you move towards the edge of this nearby town?
Well,
I decide to look like a car. And roll
I was
out.
about to ask, are
Turbo
we
team?
taking a vehicle or are we in fact trudging?
Do we?
You are having to travel through sort of a light wood area in order to reach this.
So quads for all then.
So you are like in hiking boots kind of thing, but this is definitely a foot trek towards this place. So.
All right. Well, good to his word. Malachi is going to be walking. I assume Mac's probably going to be leading us because he knows where we're going.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess Malachi's just going to be a few steps behind him to make sure nothing can get him from behind.
Right.
Manhattan is likely walking side by side with Juanita.
Right. Okay. And who's in the rear? Who's taking up the 6, as it were?
Ha, the GM said rear.
I don't
That's
mind.
not
taking
even
the rear.
funny.
Calvin, Calvin has one eye towards our 6 and one eye on Fleetus, who presumably is also somewhere back there, and he's a little worried about him with that gun. Not that he doesn't know how to use it, but that he does.
Right.
But he's too eager to be using it.
Right. Yes. It's not even a shotgun. How did you make the noise?
With my mouth. I do all the noises with my mouth.
you move through this wooded area, like this sort of light woods. Not really woods, but kind of like in the arboretum near here or whatever. Just sort of like what probably was sort of like a park area once upon a time. You can see the remnants of what might have been the path that people would have walked along. Not a park with swings and slides, but just a park with like green space and some trees. You come to the edge of that. You're on sort of like a hill. The whole area that the prison is located on is very hilly because you're at sort of the base of these mountains nearby. And you come sort of over the hill past the break of the trees, and indeed you can see the remnants of a town. You guys haven't been in this direction. This was a long hike, by the way. You've been at least an hour through this area. You've done a lot of travel in the other direction, around the water. That's been the safest place because the zombies seem to avoid large bodies of water like that. But you come to the edge of this town and you can see sort of buildings in various states of decay, various states of overgrowth. Moss has conquered the battles here more often than not. You do see what looks to be this Almar, as they called it, sort of situated in what you might consider to be. Keep in mind you're on the hill, so it's not particularly close. It's just you have this sort of vantage point down that allows you to see the town beneath you. Sort of situated in what you would consider to be sort of the town center or town square. This is a very small town, so a big what they used to call them department stores. Big department store or super center like this would have been the main attraction of the town. This would have been where people would have gone for their groceries and most of their day-to-day stuff. And probably would have driven out the mom and pop shops that might have been here once upon a time. Mac points at the building that all of you have clearly seen at this point and says, that's the store Pop was talking about. This is about as far as the scouts went, this hill. That's how we know it's there. You can see it's not too bad off. And he does sort of like the classic, like, hand over his eyebrow, scanning the horizon kind of thing. I don't see any of them, at least not in big numbers anyways, at least not from this vantage point, but they might be in some of the buildings or in some of the alleyways, so we should still probably approach quietly.
You mean the zombies?
Too many, at least nots to be reassuring, kid.
So what I'm going to have you do now is I'm going to point all of you towards your journal. Earlier on, we talked about some of the play mats that are here. The two that are going to be the most helpful for us are going to be the basic moves and the zombie moves. These, like I said, are the basic actions that we can take in the game. Basic moves are non-zombie related. Zombie moves are zombie related. If your opponent is the undead, you will use one of the zombie moves. So you should take a moment just to look through some of them. It's situational. Don't worry, I'll tell you which one you need to use. But I just want to point out one thing on the zombie moves page. You'll notice there's one point called Go on Point. And it says, when you take point against the dead, draw for the group and suffer alone. Draw +1 for each member of the group, then draw from the bite deck before you draw. So basically what happens is anytime a zombie-related thing would impact everyone, one person in the group is going to elect themselves as person on point. They're going to be the only one who draws from the survivor deck. The result of their draw is going to be what we go with. And obviously, that's one of the ways that you can cooperate and say, okay, this is a hostile action. We want to shoot someone, blah, 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 with the highest savagery goes on point, or whatever. If it's a scouting mission, probably want the one either with the highest survival or steal, depending on exactly how you're approaching it.
Right.
One person kind of takes the bullet, as it were, and then everyone else can assist or not assist as they choose. So what's happening here is now the 6 of you are attempting to approach this town, unless you're not, in which case you can let me know, are trying to approach this town as quietly as possible because, of course, really loud noises is one of the easiest ways to attract the dead to you. So you are effectively sort of scouting ahead. So what you're basically doing for me is you're basically doing the assess a bad situation role from the basic moves, which is a steal roll. And this is going to represent you sort of coming down the hill, scouting out the best approach to get to this Almar, while attracting the least attention. So
Cool.
I need you to elect one person. It cannot be Juanita or Mac.
So
Okay.
someone needs to go on point for steal to assess
Yes.
a bad situation. I elect myself because I have the highest steal.
Well, that makes perfect sense,
Makes sense to me, Malachi.
Everyone who wants to assist him, and that's obviously limited to the three of you, may each draw one card from. Don't do it yet. May each draw one card from the bite deck before he pulls, to give him a +1 on his draw.
Okay.
And why would we not want to do so?
Because if you
Uh,
get
When you
hit,
draw from the bite deck, it gets lower and lower.
Every time you drop
getting
the
closer to
bite,
the bites.
yeah, the bite deck does not get reshuffled until someone gets bitten.
wait, so if the bite gets pulled on something like this, does a zombie just come of the fuck out of nowhere and bite them?
Well, the idea is basically that while assisting you in your scouting, they got
stumbled
the
across.
drop. Yeah, they stumbled
Okay.
upon and they got the drop on them. So
Or I thought it was they suffer alone, meaning you draw for them and they get bit because they were going out and you sent the risk on them.
well, it'll be open to my interpretation in that regard.
That's fair. Yeah.
In this case, because we're all approaching and Malachi is simply leading the group, I would
Okay.
say probably if someone else draws the bite, they got bit. So
All right. Well, I'm willing to assist. So here it comes.
okay, go ahead.
Safe.
Safe. Cool. Great. That's very lucky.
You just draw one.
Just draw one.
So I was going to. So I guess that's my pull.
Thomas, you can go ahead because two people assisted you. You are going to be drawing
5, right?
Sorry.
My
yeah.
steal stat plus the 2 that assisted.
Plus
Yeah.
the 2 assistant. You're going to be drawing
Okay.
5 cards, picking the best.
Okay. Not that one. Not that one. Not that one. Not that one. Okay, well they're all misses.
Jesus.
So
Wow.
Damn.
You should pick the
Damn.
fourth one though.
yeah, definitely the fourth one.
Okay, so I'm going to
No.
recall all the survivor cards then. So that's unfortunate.
Right.
As you guys approach the town, you manage to come to a very steep drop on the hill as you come down it. And before Malachi is able to warn anyone, the people in the back start tripping as the people in the front start tripping, and all of you kind of you don't tumble like head over heels, but you start sliding down the mountain instead of like walking down it, and you end up disturbing a whole bunch of rocks. As you do so, you hit the ground kind of on the softness of your tush, and hear the a whole bunch of pebbles, rocks, small boulders sort of tumbling down behind you, and a small swarm of the Walking Dead began shambling from nearby corridors and from the closest building, the sort of holes in the walls, the empty door frames. There's got to be at least a dozen of them
Bloody hell.
starting to teeter towards you
Hooray.
as you pick yourselves up off the ground. What do you do?
Yeah, looks like we
who
got
are
us
you
more
asking?
zombies.
I will start with you actually, Malachi, as the one who most recently drew.
All right. So we're at the bottom of this, and they're starting to come out of the buildings. You said.
Yes, they're starting to shamble towards you. They clearly now are aware of your presence and are starting to come towards you.
All
You
right.
managed to pick each other up. No one's particularly injured, but they know you're there.
Is there time for a quick powwow amongst the survivors?
Well, yeah, that's just what I was wondering, because like all of these are like individual actions, but we're playing as a group. So if I
Yeah, of
want to, if I choose to flee, that's just me running away and leaving the group, right? But could
Yes,
I
very
like,
good. Yes.
could I use make a plan to try and like make the plan for the entire group to get away?
Make a plan is needs a certain amount of time. That's a sit down, talk it through kind of thing. But you are able to say a few sentences, as is the norm for RPGs.
Are we allowed to respond since we don't have a concept of turn?
Yes, because there's no concept of turns, you are free to respond again, as long as it's just a couple of sentences.
Are you going to warn us when we're nearing the edge then?
Yes.
Okay. Still
All right,
down and defile here, Malachi. There's not much for us to run to.
All right, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna run off into that alley over there. Try and get them to come after me. I'm gonna try and fool them into thinking that's where we're all going, and the rest of you gotta tail it while they're not watching.
Malachi, we don't want you to get lost or to get hurt. How about you draw them in your direction and then we take them from behind?
All right, if you see an opportunity, try and take them. But if you don't think it's going to be possible, just cheese it. You know me, I can take care of myself. I'll find a way to meet up with you at the Owl Mart.
All right,
And,
Manhattan, fleet us? You good with that?
I'd rather if somebody wasn't alone, but we don't really seem to be with a lot of options right now.
Less talk, more run, gentlemen.
better one than all of us. All right, so I'm going to try and fool the dead into thinking that the entire group is going to flee down an alleyway.
Right. Makes sense. So draw steel.
Right. I will mark a stress to make that a triumph.
Got the opportunity. Nice. Okay, so it's a triumph. Then it's a total success. These few shambling zombies are completely caught by your probably loud and boisterous movements down this alleyway, and they all turn and groan and follow you down. The zombies are of all various ages, quote unquote. Some older men and women, some like basically teenagers. But they all sort of chase at this sort of like somewhere between a walk and a run. So these aren't fast zombies, but they're not slow zombies either. Sort of a
Jog.
A walk
Zombie
with
jog.
a purpose. You know, you've seen people walking in a downtown core.
power
That
walk.
kind
Gotcha.
of pace. So that's sort of that's sort of the pace that these zombies move. Power walk zombies. Yeah, exactly. But they are all drawn by Malachi, and none of them are paying attention to the rest of you. Okay, I'm going to pass it to you, Calvin. Seeing now that the zombies are being led away successfully by Malachi, what is your reaction to that?
He tries to get a good sense of how big this horde is. How many zombies are following Malachi now?
I would say a dozen. 12.
dozen.
Yeah.
And are they all shambling into something that approaches a line? Like, are they all?
Yeah.
Because he's leading them down a
Now,
narrow
yeah,
alley.
they're having to sort of squeeze, down this corridor. So.
All right. And what do we feel like the penetration is on your average 9mm handgun?
Not much.
Get it ready for a sick collateral.
More than a 22, of course, but not enough to really pierce more than maybe a head or two.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well,
Sometimes it doesn't even do that much.
You don't know they're zombies. You don't know how decomposed they are.
That's
How
true.
much mush is too much mush?
That's true.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm with that on Richard. You could probably get 2 at a time if they were both in front of each other, kind of thing.
All right.
If you roll well.
Calvin turns to Fleetus. You know the drill. Line up your shots. Try and make him count.
Yeah, but Calvin, what if we just kind of block them in? You see, they're kind of trying to squeeze down there, aren't they?
They sure are, but I don't know if Malachi is going to keep outpacing them. Better not to leave the threat at our backs.
Well, I'm all good for shooting, but we only have 6 bullets each.
That's why I said make him count. Besides, Manhattan
Alright.
doesn't need them. He gives a wink to Manhattan, and
Well, time for some shooting then.
and then Calvin draws a bead on 2 of them.
Okay, then that definitely sounds like Fight the Dead. Could you roll savagery for me, please?
Yeah. So I
draw
draw 3
savagery.
from the survivor deck.
Yes. You got an edge, so that is a success at cost. On an edge, the GM chooses. Okay, so you choose. You greatly reduce their numbers, and you choose one of these 3 options. Because it's an edge, I also choose one. So the options here are: you attract the attention of a third party, which could also include more zombies.
Right.
You end up in a bad spot. Draw from the bite deck. You mark stress or suffer serious harm. Your choice. So
Alright.
you need to choose one, and then I choose one for you as well.
Damn. Even on success, something bad happens.
Alright, I'm going to accept drawing from the bite deck.
Okay. And then I'm going to also have you mark stress, please.
Alright.
All right. So, you line your
color.
shot and manage to get 2 of them down. Your bullet does a little bit more piercing than you thought and rings off of what remains of like a pipe that runs along the edge of this building, the alley that they're going down. The zombies are turned and alerted to you, but the ringing of the pipe also brings forth zombies from another nearby building that you weren't paying attention to, and they manage to take a swipe at you as they approach at this sort of brisk pace that they move in. So please draw from the bite deck.
Here
would
comes the bite. Nope. I'm good.
Another save. Okay.
How big is the bite deck? Are we allowed to know?
Yes, I will tell you. The bite deck has 15 cards in it total.
And only one of them is a bite?
Only one of them is a bite.
Okay.
So you are good. The zombie takes a swipe at you, but you manage to catch him at the corner of your eye and jump back in time, and give him a good ring with the butt end of your weapon. And
Nice
he
try,
falls to the
asshole.
ground. Fleetus, you're next.
Fleetus is going to follow suit, and also, all right, gentlemen, you heard Calvin. Time to shoot me some bitches, and I try and shoot some zombies.
Okay. So go ahead, draw savagery, please.
Okay, so that is 1, 2,
There's the triumph.
3.
Okay. All right. So it's the triumph. So you choose
Nice.
which of
choose
the
one.
3?
I am going to just mark stress.
Okay.
I think that's the least of 2 worlds issues.
Yes. The adrenaline surges through you as it sort of bumps you up a little bit, shooting them, but you make a clean shot, and the zombies again are reduced that are falling after Malachi. Manhattan.
I'm gonna ask Juanita for help.
Okay. So when you direct your allies to take action, draw 2 cards. If the action is in line with an ally's skill, you draw +1. If you have equipment or useful materials, draw +1. So you're asking for her help in what way? What are you asking her to do?
Are there any large like a dumpster or something near this alley that might be wheelable?
Sure.
So
Okay.
the 2 of us maybe can push it into the end of the alley and block off one side.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you then to pull for Juanita.
Okay.
I don't really think either her skills or equipment help you push a dumpster, so if you
No, I
each-
would not say so.
Yeah.
How many am I pulling? 2?
2. Okay.
Okay, that's an edge.
She gets an edge. So on an edge, the plan works, but the GM chooses one. They suffer a terrible loss, they endure serious harm, or they reveal their true nature.
Oh, great.
Okay. So I'm going to say what happens is as you move the dumpster successfully moves. So where are you trying to push this to?
I'm trying to push this. So if we are firing on them basically from both sides at this point,
Right.
because he's moved them through behind them, so they can't come back to us.
Ah, yes, I understand. Okay.
So it's sort of like a kill box on Malachi's end.
Okay. Okay.
Or at least if he does get away, they can't just turn around and say, "Oh, there's a quick way around to get them. I'm a zombie."
As you wheel the dumpster into this alleyway, as you said, it's not quite as sturdy as you had imagined.
Oh,
And-
all right.
And the metal on one side has sort of rotted away from
Okay.
some rain damage and things clawing at it and biting at it and so on and so forth. She grabs at it, and a jagged piece of metal manages
no.
to cut her. So I'm going to say she suffers serious harm.
She did.
So I'm going to have you draw for that. And she's not necessarily dead.
What do I draw for that? Bite?
So I'm using this as an example. So it's also going to be a survivor. So I'm going to recall these cards. So if everyone could just look at their suffering serious harm thing for a second. You always draw one card normally from the survivor deck, and you draw an additional card depending on how many of these are true. The harm is unintentional accidental. So definitely in this case it's accidental, so she would have 2 cards. The harm isn't explicitly lethal. No guns, knives, or grenades. This could be lethal because it's sharp metal. So that's not true. You have cover, body armor, or a bodyguard. No.
She has cover. She's behind the dumpster.
No, Richard. The dumpster's the thing doing her harm.
You don't have
Come on.
cover from the dumpster.
But it
if
is
it's the
it is
dumpster.
accidental harm, so I will give her that. So draw 2 cards to the survivor deck, please.
Well, it's not explicitly lethal either.
No.
no,
it's
no,
not.
that's true. No, that's true. That's true. No one's trying to inflict it on her, so I'll give her that too. So you may draw 3 cards.
From survivor deck.
Yes. On a hit, she lives.
Hey,
Oh!
there it is.
Oh!
Okay. There we go.
She's
you don't need to-
fine.
You don't need to bother drawing the other ones then.
Minor but heroic.
Yeah.
Tell everyone how she got that scar fighting off 7 zombies by herself with her karate skills.
Yeah, so she cuts her hand a little bit, but
Just
you know,
like her
a little
hero.
bit of like little bit of medical
Right.
tape.
Yeah.
A little bit of medical tape. She'll be okay. She goes, "Ow, damn thing."
Seeing
And
how
then-
heroic it is, Nathaniel, maybe she, I don't know, runs over a zombie or 2.
It's a
And
minor
the
heroic
scent of fresh blood in the air draws out the shark zombies.
the land
land
sharks from the
sharks,
nearby
yeah.
lake.
Land sharks.
Yeah, sure, why not?
How would
One
they
of
be
the
in the
zombies-
lake?
One of the zombies that is wandering a little too close to the dumpster manages to meet his fate at the bottom of the wheels.
Nice.
You hear crunch, crunch as she sets it in place, and realizing what she does, she goes, "Ew."
Juanita, are you okay? That looks.
Oh, I'll be all right. I'll be all right. Stop fussing.
I'm. Okay. Just keep me updated. Let me know if anything happens. Just we got zombies, so we should get back to this.
Yeah, if I die from tetanus, I'll scream or something. Don't worry.
I don't know if we can literally fix that here, but sure.
We have an infirmary. Too
um,
late to fix it after you've gotten it into your system, mind you.
The crisis for the moment, I'm going to say, is resolved. The zombies are now stuck between a dumpster and a whole bunch of their dead friends, and are effectively trapped in this alley in such a way that none of you are in any immediate peril. So.
Well, that's good.
You've solved my zombie puzzle.
Um,
Okay, very good.
The first of 20, yes.
But we are still separated from Malachi.
Yes.
Little did you
Okay.
know, these were puzzle zombies. They wanted to challenge you to chess.
So Malachi is on the other side of this alley. You guys are still on the. So now I'm going to say that you've dropped out of conflict mode, if you want to call it that. And you are sort of back in free wander mode, as it were. But Malachi is still separated from the rest of you.
Calvin
this
turns to the rest of
alleyway.
the group. All right, managed to get over that crisis. Let's head off to the Almart and hopefully we'll reconvene with Malachi there.
yeah, does Malachi see like a safe route to kind of loop back to them, or is he just going to try and meet them at the Almart? This is me asking Nathaniel.
Yes, no, absolutely. I'm going to have you draw assess a bad situation again, please.
Yeah, because that went so well. All right.
Draw steel, please.
1, 2, 3.
An
Okay,
edge.
It's an edge. Okay, so it is a hit, so that's good. You get to
ask
ask. You get to ask me one question out of the list below under assess a bad situation.
Okay. Yeah, I guess what's my best escape route / way? I guess the question is, what's my best route to meet up with them safely?
Right. So that's the correct question. You find another sort of alley that will link up sort of to one of the side doors to the Almar. And there doesn't seem to be any of the shuffling, rambling dead near you. So you won't be able to meet up with them entirely until you get back to them. But you make it there safe. And actually, because you sort of duck and weave through alleyways, you're actually the first to arrive a few minutes before they do. The six of you managed to meet back up at the Almar. I assume everyone looks decently relieved to see that Malachi is intact and unbitten. You're probably surviving this on the Enclave, gotten into the routine of just like doing like a very cursory glance at each other, like no bites, no scratches, that kind of thing, without being intrusive necessarily.
I feel like we would require people to do like a quick spin kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we're also wearing like full length clothing, like long sleeve and pants.
Yeah.
And if there's any like rips or tears in them.
Yeah. So I'm just saying that because I'm going to assume your characters every time you meet back up will be like, "Were you bit?" They'll just be kind of like a signal, like, you know, okay, gotta check.
Do
and
the
they're like,
spin.
okay, yeah, sure, man, do the spin.
All right, you look fine.
So,
all right.
Yeah. So I was just going to say, as Malachi reapproaches back again, who's leading you towards the Walmart, kind of gives you the signal for like, yeah, we gotta check you, kind of thing.
If that's the case and we all meet up and everybody's fine, Manhattan crosses himself.
Okay.
Which allows me to reveal my past.
Oh.
Manhattan used to be a priest.
Huh. Interesting. To reveal this card, only perform a ritual of your faith. You calm someone down with the words of your faith, draw soul instead of steel.
When Malachi sees Manhattan cross himself, he kind of turns and spits on the ground.
Okay. Oh, right.
Are you Malachi? Are you do you have something to say?
No, of course not. No, Manhattan, of course not. Just a bad taste in my mouth.
Okay.
Yeah, so now all of you, well, you guys can all intuit that. All the players know his past now, and you can decide whether your characters are smart enough to intuit that or whatever.
Maybe he's just Catholic.
Yeah.
We've been over this, Calvin. I'm a Mennonite. Or at least I was. You know what? Now's not really the time to be getting down deep in everyone's religious convictions.
Which reveals your backstory.
Wouldn't that be great? No.
I'm just going to answer your whisper out loud, Richard, because I think probably someone else is thinking it. Traumas get revealed the first time you would initiate the while revealed condition. So the first time it happens, it's revealed, and then after that.
Richard's about to reveal his trauma as well.
Then I have to also reveal my trauma.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
When you cross yourself.
No, it ain't that. It's actually because Malachi was a dick.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
My trauma is I'm explosive.
Okay.
I don't.
+2 when you strictly act out with violence or aggression.
I don't know that you were violent or aggressive. You just asked if I had something to say.
Gets in your face and you don't retaliate.
Mark stress.
Spitting on his religion is enough of getting in his face.
Okay. Mark stress when someone gets in your face and you don't retaliate. Okay. All right. Okay. I will say the effect of the draw +2 thing doesn't happen because this is the first time you've revealed it. But all of you are able to see I forgot your name. Manhattan sort of conceal like a range movement. Like it looks like a volcano trying to erupt, and then the volcano gets plugged back up again.
A vein. You see a vein pop out in his forehead.
Yeah. So,
from close at hand, Calvin gives Manhattan a dark glare, and then turns away intentionally. no time for this shit. Let's go, people. Let's go.
And now Chris is revealing his trauma when someone
no.
almost explodes. No.
When someone is religious, kill
It's
them.
just a fucking landslide. One card procs to the next, procs to the next. All right.
I'm gonna save myself
So-
for a good moment.
All right, listen. I digress. That may have been a bit of a slight to you, and if you want, we can talk about this when we get back. But you know what?
Yes,
This is
how
not
about you
me.
shut up and let's go find some supplies.
That's what I was gonna say. This one's on me, but now's not the time.
All right.
We're burning daylight. We don't need extra conflict.
Guys,
Let's
can
go.
we kiss
we
when we get
got all
back
those
home?
zambas outside.
Let's get inside.
Let's.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
as he's saying, let's not waste time. Let's go. He pushes past you guys to enter the building.
You all walk into the Almar, probably, guns at the ready, not sure what you'll find. The power, of course, is out. There's no electricity in this building, so it is pitch black. So you're gonna all need to pull out your flashlights kind of things. And as you do so, you scan around who has the lowest survival. Okay, it's a tie between Calvin and Manhattan. Okay, Calvin and Manhattan, I need you both to draw from the survivor deck. I'm going to start with Calvin, please. Draw from the survivor deck, please.
Alrighty.
Draw survival, I mean. So you're doing survival. Thank you. So you got a missing triumph?
I did.
Okay, great.
You died.
Okay.
Don't forget to recover those.
Yep, and Manhattan, I'm going to have you do the same thing, please. Draw survival. An edge. And an edge. Okay. So your result was worse. So Manhattan, as everyone pans their flashlights around the room just to check the immediate surroundings, you pan your flashlight to the left, and there is a zombie right next to you. He must have just been sort of standing still in a torpor.
Jesus Christ!
Now it's a zombie.
I want you to roll. I want you now to draw from a steal, please, Manhattan. Miss.
No.
Miss.
No.
Okay, I'm gonna give you a very very tough choice here.
Yeah.
Choice number 1, draw from the bite deck. Choice number 2, Juanita gets bitten.
Oh, how many bite?
Wait,
Just
when you
one
say
white card.
Juanita gets bitten, she gets bitten, no draw, or you
No
have
draw.
to draw? Okay.
No draw. Juanita gets bitten.
draw.
She's okay. You're gonna draw. Okay, go ahead.
Oh fuck!
What did you
What?
get?
Threats.
More
More zombies.
More
no.
zombies. Okay, you're shouting of
flail
Jesus
screams.
Christ!
Yeah.
Loud echoes in this very, very sort of huge,
Now you
wide building filled with corridors. And as you continue to pan your flashlights around, you can see the mass of zombies that were sort of scattered around the building, starting to converge now on the entrance as they begin to power walk shamble towards your group.
Bloody hell.
You are in a pretty bad way here.
Can we try to assess the bad situation?
And the bad situation is more zombies are moving in around you. But I see what you're saying. Yes, you potentially like a way out or whatever.
Unless you wanted somebody specifically to go first.
Yeah. So what I want is I do want an assess. I would like one person to take point on it, like we did when we were coming down the mountain.
Yo.
So assess is a steal move, I believe.
Yep.
Okay. So then I would have you draw steal for me, please, Malachi.
All right.
Malachi, we need to find a place out of here.
Opportunity edge. Okay, so you
Um,
can take
hang
the
on.
stress and get the triumph if you
Well,
like.
let me see what taking edge does on assess a bad situation.
Well, triumph will get you 2 questions. Edge gets you 1 question.
All right. I will take the stress and I'll ask 2 questions.
Okay.
So let me just mark my stress right quick. All right, that'll do for now. Fix it later. The first question I will ask is, do I see anything useful to me in the general vicinity? Something that could be used as a weapon or something like to that effect.
Okay. There are a number of shopping trolleys, or shopping carts, as you might expect at a like a grocery department store like this, that are nearby. They would be heavy metal on wheels, all of that. Helpful, maybe. They are also the kind of shopping carts that have those big metal poles on the back to prevent people from taking them outside.
Hmm.
There's also like shopping baskets that are like plastic with little handles. You know, the ones you would take for just getting a couple of things.
Right. Okay. I want to ask my best escape route, but I would like to ask, what is my best alternate escape route if I do not just want to walk out the door I just came in, because that's obvious.
Right, of course. Okay. The zombies are coming primarily from the aisles where the food had been kept or whatever, what was the refrigeration units and that kind of side. So although there are zombies in every way, they're very dense on we'll say the left side of the building, where the food is being kept. The other side where like there'll be clothing and stuff, the area there is much thinner. That would be the best way to sort of skirt around them without just sort of cheesing back out the door.
Okay. I would like to act on one of my answers.
Okay.
You know how you mentioned those shopping carts?
Yes.
If you will allow me, because
Okay.
this is like a move,
Yes.
I would like to. I suppose what I want to do is fool the dead to try and lead them away from us, and I want to do this by using. I don't know if this is going to be quick enough, so you can like tweak this however you like. I want to like tie my flare to the metal pole on one of the carts and push it like away from us, and hope
Okay.
they follow the light.
Oh, that's neat. Yeah, I'm going to allow you to do that.
Okay, so I get my steal +1 because I get a +1 if I act on my move, right?
That's right. So you can draw
Okay.
4 cards, please.
All right. I will mark a stress to take the edge.
You don't have to mark the stress for the edge. That's for opportunities.
Oh, yeah. My bad.
Yeah. Okay, so Fool the Dead on an edge. The GM... Okay, so you want to hit your efforts to mislead them. Choose one. Oh, that's right. I should have made you choose one for the Fool the Dead thing. Well, we kind of did with your deception is incomplete. That's okay. So on an edge, the GM chooses one as well. So you choose one from these 3 options, and then I will choose one as well.
All right. I'll take a stress.
Okay. And then... I'm going to say that your deception is incomplete or brief.
Damn it.
So you do not know.
How about the rest of us? Are we not able to contribute with our own plans that might make his plan more successful as a result?
To complete my incomplete or brief thing, I was going to say the flare will probably not last as long as you might hope. So that light that will track the zombies, like moss to a flame, will probably go out after not too long.
All right. Well, then
Right.
I guess my thought here would be is once he's completed sending it off and we see the flare flicker out, I'll try and bounce a shot off of one of the aspects of the cart. So it seems like the shot is coming from the cart, or at least the cart resounds
Right.
with a loud bang.
Making noise along with the
Okay.
light.
Yeah,
Shock and awe.
I'll accept that. I also want you to draw for Fool the Zombies then.
All right. And
Miss
edge.
Okay. So the exact same thing. You choose one off the list. I choose one off the list.
I will take a stress.
Okay. And I'm going to say that your shot works to distract them, but it is very loud because it is a gunshot. And manages to draw some zombies from outside. And you can see one of the side doors starting to have a couple of guys shamble through.
But presumably it draws them towards the cart, as opposed to
It draws
us?
them towards the cart, and the cart is
For now.
sliding that way.
Right.
Yes, you bought yourself a few moments, anyways. Fleetus.
Oh, I was helping push the cart.
Oh, that's right. Yes. Okay. Manhattan.
Well, having been the one that had made this all happen.
Oh. Fall on your sword.
Yeah. Well, which of my allies do you think could use the most help?
That's hard to say because one of them is shooting a gun. Hard to help them with that unless you like tell them aim or something, or also
shoot at the yeah.
Yeah. The other two are pushing carts. You could also grab a cart, but I mean the ploy is already what the ploy is.
Can I assess a bad situation then?
Yes. Go ahead. Yes. That's steal, I believe. Yeah, like I said, that.
Ooh, a triumph.
You got a triumph. Okay. So you get to ask me 2 questions.
Okay. What here is the most useful to my allies?
Okay. Well, I'll give you a good answer because you got a triumph. The most useful thing to your allies is the canned foods section, which is established in one particular aisle.
Yes.
You do notice that they are decently intact. You could probably grab a decent amount, considering you also have baskets and trolleys within easy reach.
What's my best way in?
Best way
to the food aisle if I'm taking a cart.
Okay. Similarly, your best way into the food section is sort of unintuitively out of the food section. You would probably
Right.
The safest way in would be to go through the thinnest veil of zombies, which is on the right-hand side near where the clothing is, and sort of circle back around.
Right. I think what Manhattan's gonna do is ultimately what he's gonna want to do at that point is grab a cart and see if he can make a zombie parade while he's also gonna go through the food section, get as much as he can in the cart with the cans, and then we can see if we can leave the zombies around, get out of the entrance again, and hopefully it will kind of circle them. You know what I mean?
Okay.
All right. Malachi wants to react to him going for a cart. He doesn't know his whole plan, obviously, because he never said. So Malachi, on seeing him reach for a cart, goes, Manhattan, the baskets, carts, bad maneuverability. We're never going to get them back up the hill.
Completely agree. And he grabs 2 baskets.
Okay. And you're cog-lying down, hoping to circle around and grab stuff.
Yes.
I would like you to make a draw for Flee the Dead, which is a survival draw. An edge. Okay. All right. So there's a success at least.
Yes.
So on an edge, okay. So you choose one from this list. I also choose one.
Yeah.
Just like the others.
I'll draw for the bite deck.
You're gonna draw for the bite deck.
Okay.
Okay, and I'm also going to say you leave something or someone valuable behind. Juanita's not able to keep up with you.
That's
so
fine.
She must shuffle somewhere.
That's fine. I'll
Draw
threat. Something breaks.
Something breaks. Something in your environment breaks. The GM will tell you what. The handles on the baskets break.
Oh.
On both of them, or just okay?
That's the
all right.
thing.
Okay, you can still load them and kind of stack them. It might be a little cumbersome, or at the very least, you might have to get rid of one of them so you don't get to carry as much.
Yeah. Yes, they're still useful. You just have to carry them a little bit more awkwardly and all of that.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. If that's gonna be the case, I'll ditch one of them so that I can kind of carry.
Right.
Carry one. Yeah.
Okay. We leave the scene here with Manhattan running through the store with a broken shopping basket towards the aisle. Juanita lost somewhere in the shuffle of zombies, and the rest of you fending them off at the entrance and tossing flare-covered trolleys into the crowd.
Right.
We'll pause there and come back next week.